Welcome to World 24 News Channel. Is Russia running out of missiles? It has been widely rumored that Moscow might be running out of missiles, despite launching 84 at major Ukrainian cities in one day on Monday. Michael Clarke, security and defense analyst, says this is evident because Russia has improvised their use on several different occasions. We've seen missiles slamming into buildings which are sea-based missiles. They're anti-ship missiles carrying a half-ton warhead against aircraft carriers, he told Sky News. We've seen surface-to-air missiles meant to be anti-aircraft missiles used against ground targets. And the Russians don't have that many, it seems, caliber ship-launched cruise missiles which they are using. They used a few yesterday. But, if they had more, I'm sure they would use more. The problem is that they seem to be running out of the components that they need for these things, because they've been under sanctions for quite a long time. Analysts have said Russia is increasingly reliant on foreign imports for weaponry, but it has relatively few international allies. Ukraine said yesterday that Iranian-made drones were used in strikes. Professor Clarke added that the war in Ukraine is the return of industrial warfare to Europe. Whoever prevails in this struggle eventually will be who decides they can mobilize at an industrial capacity, he said. For Russia, it is their industrial capacity. For Ukraine, it is ours. Russian onslaught cost up to $700 million. On Monday, Moscow launched dozens of rockets on major Ukrainian cities, with upwards of 19 people dead and 105 wounded. It is thought 84 cruise missiles and 24 drones were deployed, with reports suggesting these were Kh-101, Kh-555, caliber, Iskander, S-300, and Tornado S missiles. Forbes has now calculated the monetary value of this attack, saying it would have cost Moscow between $400 million and $700 million. The calculation was made on the assumption that most of the missiles launched were the expensive and highly accurate Kh-101, S-300 and Tornado S missiles. Office building destroyed in Zaporizhzhia strikes. Earlier we told you about more Russian strikes in the southern region of Zaporizhzhia, which have killed one person this morning. This image from Reuters below shows an office building for a car retailer which was destroyed in the attack. Ukrainians have returned to underground shelters after air raid sirens sounded, and as many as 301 settlements in the regions of Kyiv, Lviv, Sumy, Ternopil and Khmelnytsky remain without electricity. Faced with blackouts, Ukraine has halted electricity exports to neighboring Moldova and the European Union, at a time when the continent already faces surging power prices.